what she omits is more important than what she admits. Because what they omit are the things that make them look bad. So if they take a step backwards and admit that their inferiority is actually what attracts them to a superiority, we will look at them sideways. They don't want anything to come in and challenge their agency, even though they have no agency. I call this the proverbial fucking double dip. I want to be treated like an equal and have agency, make my own reproductive decisions, fuck any man that I want, be with any man that I want, but I reserve the right to be labeled a poor victim and be absolved of my bad decisions, and I can leverage not just the criminal courts, but the civil courts to get my pound of flesh. So next time we're going to cover is right here, chat. And basically, this right here, I'll play the video and we'll cover it. I'll just play the video one time through.
Diabolical
So let me play it one time through with no interruptions, and then we'll react to it.
things I want in a man. Number 1, height. My man's got to be above 6'2". My last 2 boyfriends were 6'3". Both of them. And they were jacked. And they looked really good. How am I supposed to downgrade from that? So, unfortunately, my next man will have to be 6'2" and up. Number 2, you can't have a gut. I need you built. I need you fit and going to the gym multiple times a week. I'm sorry, like, I'm just not gonna date a fat guy. If I can be in the gym 5 days a week and be fit and care about how I look, you can do it. Number 3, he cannot have a salary cap. Whatever career he's in, he needs to have multiple streams of income, and we need to be able to make as much money as possible. That's why I will never date a guy who works in like corporate. What is your 100K salary cap gonna do for me? The max you'll ever be able to get to is like what, 150? Yeah, no, we're good. I need you in a career that is going to make us money. I am a lover of luxury. I like expensive things. I like expensive vacations. So will you if you're my man. So we need a career that can support that. Number 4, whenever we travel, he's got to be flying his business. I'm sorry, we're not staying in economy together. It's just not happening. Again, this is where the lack of salary cap is really going to help. And number 5, he's got to have a really nice watch. I'm not really impressed when I hear somebody has a Rolex anymore because those can be really cheap. I would much prefer if you had an AP or a Patek and maybe multiple of them. The Rolex can be your day watch and it still better be 50K plus.
Okay, so let's go through this again now that you guys heard everything, right? Now, obviously people are saying here, oh, she's rage baiting or some other shit. All right, so let's go through this, right? Let's play this from the beginning.
Diabolical things I want in a man. Number 1, height. My man's got to be above 6'2". My last 2 boyfriends were 6'3". Both of them. And they were jacked.
Okay, when she says that, I want a guy that's at least 6'2". Now, a lot of people said that this girl's rage baiting. What you guys got to understand is that though she is rage baiting, there is a significant air of truth to what she's saying, all right? So what she's really saying is he's got to be over 6 feet tall.
And they looked really good. How am I supposed to downgrade from that? So, unfortunately, my next man will have to be 6'2" and up. Number 2, you can't have a gut. I need you built. I need you fit and going to the gym multiple times a week. I'm sorry, like.
Now, here's the thing. Anybody that's a bodybuilder here, you guys know what I'm about to say here. Going to the gym and building a really good physique, it doesn't really get you as many women as you guys think, okay? So when you're going to the gym and you're training your body and you got like an elite level physique, the only people that are going to be fucking interested in that a lot of times are dudes. Pause. Okay? Once you get past like the Abercrombie and Fitch model type look where, you know, you have some visible abs, some muscle, basic muscle development, that's the sweet spot that women actually want. But a lot of guys think they need to be 20 to 30 pounds heavier than what women actually find attractive. And then on top of that, guys, right, a lot of women meet guys that are in good shape like this, and they'll be intimidated. So they won't want to necessarily maybe have a long-term relationship with this guy, right? He might be like a fun one-night stand or whatever because he's attractive. But these types of men, for relationship purposes, scare a lot of normie chicks off. And this girl's clearly a normie, as you guys can see.
I'm just not going to date a fat guy. If I can be in the gym 5 days a week and be fit and care about how I look, you can do it. Number 3, he cannot have a salary cap. Whatever career he's in, he needs to have multiple streams of income, and we need to be able to make as much money as possible. That's why I will never date a guy who works in like corporate. What is your 100K salary cap going to do for me? The max you'll ever be able to
Okay, so when she says this, what she really means is she still wants a 6-figure earner.
get to is like what, 150? Yeah, no, we're good. I need you in a career that is going to make us money. I am a lover of luxury. I like expensive things.
Okay, this is her just, pure rage baiting because she knows a lot of guys are going to be in the comments going crazy about this. But obviously, if a girl can get luxury, she will.
I like expensive vacations. So will you if you're my man. So we need a career that can support that.
Yeah, this is rage baiting.
Whenever we travel, he's got to be flying his business. I'm sorry, we're
more rage baiting,
not
yeah.
staying in economy together. It's just not happening. Again, this is where the lack of salary cap is really going to help. And number 5, he's got to have a really nice watch. I'm not really impressed when I hear somebody has a Rolex anymore because
This is more rage baiting.
Really cheap. I would much prefer if you had an AP or a Patek and maybe multiple of them. The Rolex can be your day watch and it still better be 50K plus.
Yeah, so this bimbo is clearly rage baiting, right? With a couple of things. But like I said before, a comment said, no, I understand this is rage baiting. Keep in mind, message is still clear. The man still needs to be 6 foot plus, 100K, good shape, handsome. She's merely sensationalizing portions of this to create plausible deniability, but the requirements are still ridiculous. Virtually all women desire this, and most feel as though they deserve it, despite whatever shortcomings they have. That is my point, right? And I went ahead and I wrote a tweet about this as well. I put here basically, I need you guys to listen to this woman and understand this ugly truth. A majority of women in America expect this and feel entitled to it. Average men are invisible to average women, and you can thank the internet, dating apps, Instagram, and TikTok for that. If this mid-bimbo has the nerve to publicly make demands like this, it's time for you to open up your eyes. Most women think this way, and average women feel entitled to above average men. Welcome to unrestricted hypergamy in 2025. And though she's saying this to rage bait, she's obviously taking it to another level and sensationalizing it. The crux of the problem is the same. Women in reality, a majority of them are still chasing a minority of the men. Okay? Maybe they're not 6 foot, but maybe got to be 6. Maybe they don't got to make 150K, but they got to make at least 6. Maybe they could be fit, but just not be fat. Like, a lot of women think this way, right? Because most women think, oh, I deserve the world because I'm here. All of them feel, damn near all of them feel entitled to a top tier guy, right? But the math doesn't math, obviously. On this side of the internet, we talk about how the sexual marketplace, right? And the way it's designed right now with a femme-centric spin where women are the ones that are picking, right? And they have all the options. What this has inadvertently done is put women in the driver's seat in the sexual marketplace. And when you put women in the driver's seat of the sexual marketplace, what's happening is they make really bad decisions, reproductive decisions. So, and this is just a byproduct of decades and decades of feminism. And like I said, a couple people in the chat are in the comments saying, oh, this is rage baiting. You're right. But a lot of the stuff that she said is still true. Because another thing I need you guys to understand is that, and this is another, like, it's a quirk that only women do this shit. So what they'll do is they'll say, okay, I would deal with this guy if he was XYZ, right? I'll give you an example. I would date a guy that's under 6 foot if he was nice or a good guy, right? What she's not telling you, though, is that he's under 6 foot, but he's also wealthy. He has a nice sports car. He has a great job and people respect him. He has status, right? She tells you that the guy's nice and that's what she likes. But what she omits is more important than what she admits. I'm going to say that again for you guys. What she omits is more important than what she admits. Okay? What women omit is way more important because what they omit are the things that make them look bad. I'll give you an example. Same scenario. Dude's under 6 feet, not her type normally, but she says, oh, I like him, he's a great guy. Right? Oh, I like him so much, he's a great guy. She won't tell you how he doesn't call her all the time. She won't tell you how he puts her in her place. She won't tell you how he's a leader and he's dominant. Because all of these traits would signify what? That she's an idiot, okay? So in other words, women are attracted to men that make them feel like idiots, but they don't want you to think that they're an idiot. Does that make sense, chat? Say that again for you guys. I want explicitly clear. Women are attracted to men that make them or can make them look like fucking idiots because he's better than her in every way. However, women don't like to vocalize this because if they vocalize this, we would not take them seriously. You understand, chat? Women's suffrage and feminism is fought really hard to get them to the point where they're getting equal rights. So if they take a step backwards and admit that their inferiority is actually what attracts them to a superiority, we would look at them sideways. Wait, we went through the sex revolution, controlled birth control, made no-fault divorce. We did all this for you dumb bitches, and you guys still want to date a guy that, what? You see what I'm saying, guys? They don't want anything to come in and challenge their agency, even though they have no agency. Yesterday, if you guys watched the stream, as many of you remember, the Indian girl, she said that Diddy needs to be in jail, right? For abusing women or whatever. Now, for those of you that don't know, I actually was in the Diddy trial for all day. Or sorry, for like 2 weeks. And I sat there all day for 2 weeks. And I watched some of the most important testimony from the star witness, Cassie Ventura, right? And I also listened to testimony from other victims. And the reason why Diddy didn't get convicted was because the witnesses weren't credible and believable, okay? There was some question whether, was this really sex trafficking or consenting adults? And they ended up not finding Diddy guilty of the most serious sex trafficking charges. They ended up getting him guilty for interstate transportation of prostitutes. Yes, you heard that right. Basically, niggas gonna go to jail for fucking flying dudes out. Pause. That's gotta be a first. Bro was literally about to do fed time for flying out niggas. Whatever. But I say this to let you guys know that we live in a society that infantilizes women in general. Okay? And since we infantilize females, they don't want to lose that ability to be infantilized because it allows them to not have agency. But at the same time, they want the agency to be able to be hoes. Does that make sense, chat? I call this the proverbial fucking double dip. I want to be treated like an equal and have agency, make my own reproductive decisions, fuck any man that I want, be with any man that I want. But I reserve the right to be labeled a poor victim and be absolved of my bad decisions. And I can leverage not just the criminal courts, but the civil courts to get my pound of flesh. And this is why I fight so hard against the fucking Me Too era. Because what Me Too has basically done is it's allowed women to use the criminal justice and civil court system, weaponize it to destroy a man's character, his legacy, his empire, because she doesn't like how it ended, or she feels like she got used, or she regrets being with that individual. Well, I got a newsflash for you motherfuckers. Regret isn't rape. But what I'm slowly seeing is that more and more women are okay with making bad decisions and coming out after the fact and trying to sue or make allegations to, number one, save face in their situation like Cassie because she had a boyfriend that, she cheated on, get monetary compensation, and get revenge. It's a fucking trifecta. If you're a scorned ass woman, right, and you're pissed off, what better way is there than to hit a guy with his pockets, destroy his reputation, and put him in fucking jail? And this is precisely what Me Too has done. Me Too has allowed women to weaponize criminal justice and legal system in general to destroy you financially, destroy your reputation, and potentially even put you in fucking jail for it because they made bad decisions back then. Mind you guys, Cassie was the one that was paying these escorts. She was arranging their flights. She was arranging the hotels. She was telling Diddy, I want to do the freak-offs. We went through hours upon hours of text message that showed that this was clearly a consensual situation. Now, as always, women find an excuse to feel sorry. Well, she was under the influence. She was only 19. Okay. Well, here comes 19 again at you. You're driving fucking drunk. 19, right? You fucking kill a couple. You go to jail. And not only do you go to jail, you go to fucking adult jail. But he was only 19, Byron. Or she was only 19. So she can go ahead and join the military and get killed to protect some of them boys. She could go fight a foreign war for the fucking, right? In the Middle East somewhere. Buy a pack of cigarettes or be tried as an adult. But now we want to sit here and say, oh, she was only 19. She didn't know what she was getting herself into with Diddy. Get the fuck up out of here, bro.
Welcome, punch!
And this is my problem with feminism. Because like many other leftist agenda movements, it doesn't hold up to scrutiny and logic. If you want equality, because that's what feminism actually is, it's equality between the genders, that means that you have to take fucking responsibility for your bad fucking decisions. If you're in a relationship with Diddy, getting fucking baby oil thrown on you all the time, and you're over here smashing dudes in random hotels all over the place, and you're coordinating it, like, I'm sorry, honey, but you're pretty much fucking culpable here, okay? You don't get to fucking come in and say, oh, I'm pissed off. I'm going to go ahead and go after Diddy now, right? And here's the thing. I don't give a shit. You guys already know. I don't care about what's going on with Diddy. I'm not like a Diddy fan or whatever. But I do think, for me looking at the trial and listening to the testimony, that this was basically a scorned, angry woman that had an axe to grind, that worked with other witnesses, by the way. Mila, another star witness for the government, was friends with Cassie, and they were talking, right, throughout this trial. They showed a picture in the trial of them hanging out with each other the day that Diddy got arrested, by the way. So you're fucking conspiring with other former employees, the girl from Danny and Kane, etc., to do lawsuits and build a criminal case because you don't like the fucking card that you were dealt. Now, mind you, Diddy's a billionaire. He was able to hire a legal team and fight it. He's going to go to jail now for probably 2 to 10 years at most. He won't die in prison like we thought he was going to do. But this dude's a billionaire and had to hire an all-star fucking team of lawyers. And he still barely made it. What the fuck do you think is going to happen to a regular guy? Bro, that nigga's cooked. He needed an all-star fucking legal team to prove that Cassie was a whore. Real talk. My guy literally, bro, I could have done the job at this point. Bro hired a full legal team of fucking high-end lawyers to basically prove in court that these bitches are hoes. Dead ass. They should have put me on the fucking legal team at this point, you know? And the only way you would know this, you'd have to sit in the courtroom. But like, this is what it is, bro. This is what it is. Cassie was a 304, smashing a bunch of dudes, 30 plus. We heard this in court. She didn't like the hand that she was dealt. So she comes back years later with fucking buyer's remorse. Sues him for $20 million. Gets a settlement for $10 million from Intercontinental, which no one knew about, by the way, until the defense team exposed it. She got $10 million days before the trial started, chat. That came out on the stand. Nobody knew about that. It's fucking breaking news. So she got 20M for Diddy, 10M from Intercontinental. She had a fucking tour planned out. But once she got paid out, she quit the tour. And she was living with her parents back in fucking New London. So don't tell me that money wasn't an incentive here. But the fact that Diddy had to move mountains to prove that these are scoring hoes sets a dangerous fucking precedent, my friends. He was a billionaire. He was able to defend himself, barely. If this happens to anybody else, cooked.